Hey guys, Dylan Anderson here, and welcome to another wonderful installment to the Digital Mass Media tutorial series. Today, we're going to be talking about the DJI Phantom 2 Vision Plus. Basic overview of the quadcopter, camera, remote, and some basic flight techniques to help you get off the ground and get those epic aerial shots. Also, I'm going to show you some quick tips to adjust your footage in After Effects. Okay, so first off, this is not a toy. This is a very expensive piece of equipment that can be damaged very easily. With that being said, there's no real reason to be scared of flying it. So now that I have scared you from flying it, let's get into the real overview. So the Phantom 2 consists of a few different components, but really, there's not much to it. There's the blades, body, gimbal, camera, and legs. Oh, and as well the battery, which is honestly the heaviest part to the Phantom 2. Now the body has a couple pieces of red tape on the top, and that is to indicate where the front is. Also, there are lights on the bottom that help indicate front from the back. You might be wondering, why do I need to know that? There's a camera on it and I will always know which way is the front. Well, that's not always the case. Sometimes you will lose connection to your phone and you will be forced to fly it manually. So next is the camera and gimbal. The Phantom 2 Vision Plus has a built-in camera and a 2-axis gimbal. This bad boy is stacked with a whopping 14 megapixels. Wow. Shoots video at 1080p, 30 frames per second, and 720p at 60 frames per second. Also, you can choose from two different field of view options, from 100 degrees to 80 degrees. So you might be thinking, what is a gimbal? Well, what the gimbal does is it electronically stabilizes the camera while the Phantom is flying. That's what's cool about the gimbal. It'll keep the camera steady, so no matter how much you move, it'll still put out an awesome shot. So that's kind of a basic overview of the Phantom and its camera and gimbal. Now I want to talk about the remote control and the Wi-Fi range extender. So the remote looks pretty basic. Well, because it is. The only thing different from any other RC remote is the Wi-Fi extender and phone clip. The Wi-Fi extender does exactly what you would think. It extends the range between your phone and camera. And again, the phone clip is pretty self-explanatory. It holds your phone. Now, getting into the controls of the remote. The left stick is used for the height control and bank. Moving the stick in the forward position will raise the Phantom, and pulling down will lower the Phantom. Pushing the stick to the right will make the Phantom bank to the right, and also pushing it to the left will bank to the left. Now, the joysticks on the right control forward acceleration, reverse, and turning. Pushing the stick to the right will turn, or more relatably, pan the Phantom to the right while vice versa, pushing the stick to the left while turn/pan to the left. One thing you're going to want to stay away from when you've begun to start filming is not to turn too much, if at all. You'll get rolling shutter, and that's just something you don't want. The main maneuvers that'll give you the best quality shots include moving backward and forward and banking left to right. Other than the main controls, you'll find two little switches on the top of the remote. These switches are for calibration and setting a home point. You really shouldn't have to mess with these at all. Although setting a home point in theory is good, if there is any obstruction between you and the Phantom when it decides it wants to go home, it will not see it and crash straight into it. The best way to prevent unwanted crashes from power failure and/or loss of connection between the camera and phone or device you're using to view from is always to watch battery and your battery usage, and always keep the Phantom within eyes view. Now, with all the boring mumbo jumbo out of the way, let's get outside and get this thing lifted. When turning on the Phantom, there are a few steps you have to do in order, or it will not work properly. First, you'll turn on the remote. Secondly, the Wi-Fi extender, and lastly, the Phantom. To turn on the Phantom, you have to press the power button on the battery, and then hold it until it makes a little startup noise. Now she's ready. For the first few times you take flight with the Phantom, it's recommended you don't hook up your phone to the camera. You need to learn how to control it in the air. You'll get much more flight time out of the battery, and you'll become a much better pilot. To start the rotors, you have to bring both sticks pointing to the inside down corners of the controller. The blades will start to spin, and now it gets exciting. The first time you take off, it can be a little intimidating, but no worries. As you first lift off, it can be kind of scary. The Phantom is really loud. To get it in the air, all you have to do is push the left stick forward. When taking off for the first time, you might get weirded out by the noise. But don't panic. Once you push the sticks up, commit to it. It gets loud, but don't freak out too much. Once you're in the air, and at a safe level, probably 10 feet, play around with it a little bit. Bank left and right, go back and forth, maybe even try to turn it around. You should do this for a while before taking it too far. DJI has included a basic beginner's flying guide that you should complete before you think you're a Vietnam heli pilot. Start small and then progress. You don't want to ruin it for the rest of your peers. After you've recorded the most awesome, raddest, epic footage of all time, and you have landed the bird successfully, now it's time to edit.
Hi, my name's Kyle Roush. I'm going to be taking over the editing part for Dylan on this tutorial. Some stabilizing and fixing the little fisheye look. So I already have After Effects open. I have the our footage already imported, and I've done some stuff to it. If you don't know After Effects, this isn't you don't really need to know After Effects to do this. I just wanted to use it because it has a really good 3D camera tracker. I'm gonna show you how to do some really cool stuff with that. So anyways, take your footage. When you open it, it's gonna ask about a new composition. All these settings are fine, 1920 by 1080. And you can name it. So you name it whatever you want. We'll do so we have this new composition. This is what it looks like. This is our footage. We're just gonna take it and drop it in here. Trim the footage to something more. Just for the sake of the tutorial. If you guys don't know shortcuts, that was Control Shift D splits it, so it's like cut. It's like using the blade tool. Anyways, so it's just down. Making the workspace smaller, real quick. So Effects Control tab. Quick one. Go to your effects presets over here. And then I already have it brought up, but all you have to do is type optics compensation. Optics. It kind of comes up. Just grab it, drop it onto your footage, and then you'll get this little guy over here. Reverse lens distortion, and then when you move it, you can start to see the screen kind of gets flat again. It gets rid of that fisheye kind of look. Somewhere around 57, 56, somewhere around there. I guess really what you want to look for is this before, after. It's like a straight line, so like we have this horizon right here, or this hill, whatever this is. And I'm just gonna use that, for the vantage point, and just kind of pull it till it's about flat. You can go too much and make it really look weird, but you don't really want to do that. It's around 56, 57. It gets it looking nice. That's to get rid of that. And then to do some warp stabilizer, you can go into your window and just see over here there'll be this thing that says tracker. And click on that. Then that brings up your camera tracker settings. Down here in the corner, we have warp stabilizer, and so you'll click that. It takes a little bit, so I already did it in this one. I already have warp stabilizer, objects compensation, and the 3D camera tracker. But so you just click that. I'll click it. It says analyzing. It'll take a little bit. I'm just gonna cancel because I already have it done. And what it really does is it'll do everything on its own. It's pretty cool. It does zoom into your footage a little bit, but it stabilizes it. And then 3D camera tracker for that. Turn that off. Right here, track camera does the same thing, analyzing in background. That's the cat. He's scratching in the chair. Anyways, so you can still work. Analyzes in the background. It's gonna take a while. So I'm also not going to do that. And then what will happen? I'll show you the end result. Though, what will happen is the camera tracker brings up, it analyzes your footage and then makes these little track points. And what you can do with these is you can click them and create null objects and link text to it. So like right here we have, I did this, you can click off of this. I tracked a little spot on this building and then put text there so that when the camera flies, when the Phantom flies by, then there's a little bit of some text that it flies over. So yeah, so with that, you do the track. It'll come up with these little points, and all you have to do is like, okay, this looks like a really good spot. I will create text right here, and it kind of creates its own. It'll create text. I mean, that's what it does. Pretty simple. You can scale it, and it's already in 3D space, and it'll just be it's kind of slow right now, but it'll be stuck in that area on that track point. Then you can just turn on motion blur, maybe give a little one motion blur for your composition too. Yeah, so that's some quick and cool little techniques you can do to kind of get rid of the fisheye look, stabilize your footage more. A little camera tracker, and you can put text, floating text, or text stuck to the ground in your shot. I hope this was, yeah, so yeah, I hope this helps. I don't know. Okay. Alright.